Welcome to Millionaire Landscape, the podcast with game-changing digital marketing strategies for hardscape, landscape, irrigation, and lawn care industries. Hosted by Keith Eneix, this podcast takes you behind the scenes to explore the real numbers, proven strategies, and challenges of scaling a $1 million hardscape business from dirt to millions. Ready to dig into success? Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a really interesting topic all of us are thinking about, which is how AI affects our marketing and sales. And today I have one of my favorite marketing managers for the hardscape space, Jackie Pearce. So glad to have you with us today. With so many automated tools that are out there, how do hardscape companies make sure that they're using the right personal touch? That's harder and harder to do, Jackie, in today's world. What are some of the thoughts that you have about that?
Yeah, I mean, I know we'll, dive into it, but one of the first is just that so many people are afraid to just constantly use their voice, their brand, their personality, and they just use the template, what ChatGPT gives them, or they don't even prompt the chat to have any part of their person, and then it's just a complete mismatch when someone gets it versus the person they talk to. And that's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah. Across what you're managing multiple accounts, the hardscaping side, multiple different areas, and you get to see how that automation plays out and sort of the buzz of, great, we had marketing automation with software such as HubSpot, or now we have Go High Level, which is blowing up with local service companies. And now it's not just automation. So that could be defined as an email that goes out or a text that goes out once somebody submits a form or a phone call. Now we have AI that can communicate almost like a human, but then everybody can sort of recognize it doesn't sound like a human. That can be awkward.
Yeah. Especially if, you don't want to set your AI up to be caught, that's where someone thinks they're talking to a human, they're getting that personalized touch, and then they're not. And it is really a hard balance for all business owners to kind of, one, save their time from, being on the phone, responding to text, which is so time consuming, but also making the customer feel like they're being heard and they're being understood. And there's a connection being built and rapport. And it's really, I think we're all trying to figure it out in this day and age right now.
I know that our appointment setter in our business is, from one standpoint, he really likes AI, but then from another standpoint, it's so frustrating. For instance, we had a customer call into our AI, and one of the questions that we have our AI ask is, what city are you calling from? Because we want to verify that we serve that city.
Absolutely.
And the person said the city, but the AI, because they had a bit of a accent or the way that they said it, the AI took that to mean another term. So it took it a totally different direction. And it was crazy because it came back and said, again, what city are you from? And that person just got frustrated to the point where it just turned into a bunch of, swear words. And, and thankfully our appointment setter saw that. It probably had a little bit of a laugh, but came back and was able to save that conversation. But
thankfully
we see that happening out there, that AI isn't perfect every single time.
No. And I think as more people interact with it, they'll understand that it's not really the business trying to offload everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you give the poor robots a little grace. Even me telling Siri to set a timer, sometimes I say 5 minutes, she hears 15, we're just trying to find the balance between, keeping it human and personalized, but also automating.
Well, exactly. Automating. So if we think about just some instances of how AI can be a blessing and how it can be a curse or be used poorly. What are some examples that we can think of where AI is really filling a gap and doing a great job of that?
Yeah. I mean, just for context, as like a marketing manager, I have right now Gemini like gives me a recap of all my meetings. And like I'm really good at like writing to-dos down with pen, trying to capture them. But like there's always tasks I miss, or like things to think deeper about. Like it'll tell me like, oh, there's a discussion of a potential long-term project, that it's like, oh, that is, yeah, thank you for catching that. Cause it's like, I know you and I have even talked about, it's hard to like be active, but also be the recorder, but also like capture like the underlying to-dos. Like that was the first spot where I was like, oh, that's great. Much less in our entire sales funnel, much less our entire, like, people don't come to a meeting with someone on the team. They don't show up, discovery call. It's a like, hey, follow up, instead of putting that on our sales team to like chase everyone down constantly. Because it's so easy to, especially depending on lead volume, how fast that can slip through the cracks of like, were they followed up with? Did they reach out? And just taking care of the scheduling even has been so nice to see that of like, so someone misses a call with you and then like all of a sudden you see a new calendar appointment a week from now, done. Like it already is just without you sitting, like the messaging, the back and forth. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed this, the dance that we all do. It's been, and that's only the tip of the iceberg of when we talk to people of what is possible in the world of automation and AI. This is just the beginning of what I know.
Yes. So Jackie, curious, you're on the marketing side. So you're sending leads for hardscapers and developing out systems and automations for the hardscaping niche, specifically for our hardscaping agency and all of our hardscape clients, and developing out that system. On the sales side, there's a couple concepts that help us with making more money. One, I've heard the saying, the riches are in the niches. So make sure we niche. Make sure you're choosing that niche thing that gets you in the backyard of that customer. But also, when we're focusing on our follow-up, the gold is in the follow-up process. I'm curious, how often do you think hardscapers typically follow up after receiving a lead?
I mean, I wish I had a stat in front of me, but I know it's in the lowest of low, especially if we're talking the peak busy season. We're talking the real busy, like the leads that are hot and right now are lucky to get a immediate follow-up, much less. I can't even imagine.
Multiples.
And that's what we're here for. But, like.
I'm going to talk about two personas real quick. One, business owner. I got to make up a name for this. Help me with this. Like, he's a salesperson. So business owner Benji. There we go. Business owner Benji. Got to get the alliteration there. Okay. Business owner Benji is he's an owner, hardscape owner, sales persona, likes the sales process. Business owner Benji will probably follow up maybe twice. Okay. The baseline across the board in sales is 5 times. Baseline. You got to follow up at least 5 times. Business owner Benji, who's a salesperson working in his hardscape business, let's just say he's doing about 500,000 to 1.5 million, somewhere in there per year, probably following up twice. Actually, that's pretty good, because when you look at office manager Sally might call them back, same exact type of business, might call them back if they have time, but they also have the mentality of, we don't want to bother them. And
absolutely.
And of course, I say office manager Sally, that could be office manager Andy. as well.
Absolutely.
We have an Andy in our business. Thankfully, he follows up. He actually breaks that stat, so he's great on that.
Mhm.
But office manager Sally has more of a mentality of, I don't want to bother that person.
Yeah.
And so maybe they'll call them once. If they don't get a hold of them, they just won't follow up again. Well,
Yeah.
if you just take a second and step back, why does that person not pick up? What are some reasons why maybe that person didn't pick up if we follow up with them?
I mean, how long do we have? Like it's
Right? Yeah.
picking kids up from
There's
school, like you're on date
Yeah.
night, like you're on vacation, like you have a last minute deadline at work, it's like,
Yes.
why don't any of us pick up the phone these days? Like,
Yes. Yes. So it sounds like our clients are busy.
yeah, so
right?
busy.
They're busy.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is we kind of mirror that a little bit. Even that Benji personality, business owner Benji, he will mirror that a little bit, especially when he's busy. You mentioned busy time of the season.
Mhm.
I'm busy too. So I might try to follow up with you twice or once, but I'm busy.
Yeah.
And
as we all are,
it's interesting.
right?
Yeah. Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy. Yeah.
Right. But when we think about, if I was to ask Benji or Sally and have a conversation with them and say, so why are you unique? Probably both of them would say something to the effect of our customer service, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in that customer service, there's this concept of the way we serve the customer. Well, so when we think about the follow-up process, is it possible to serve the customer if we just follow up with them once?
And also in the way that they like to be followed up with or responded to. Like some people we've seen our text message, they'll respond to a text message, a phone call, hard, especially when we do work with hardscapers. They're usually, we've seen so many people of them just answer from their truck, they're like just sitting there waiting between like some machinery to show up, and it's like, but if we send them a text maybe, or an email, like it's how, so not only the follow-up, but then like, how are you following up? Is it a way that they can have time, space, energy to respond to?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. So it could be just the way we're following up. We're using the wrong medium.
Yeah. Like Benji loves a phone call. He's an old school guy. He loves a phone call. And it's like, you won't get a millennial on the phone to save your life. Like you're just,
that's true.
They don't,
That's so true. And Sally, I guess, would be the gatekeeper. She might prefer an email or text to get some information before passing you on to that next person. But from a hardscaper to the client that they're serving to transform their yard, we find that roughly about 60%, depends on every business, but roughly 60% general is going to be the woman calling. So she's calling. And you have to get a hold of her. Maybe part of that is just, if it's a higher income home, maybe mom's home. Maybe it's not maybe she's not gone as often. That's a possibility. But have to figure out who is available, who to follow up with, and what medium to follow up with them on. And that, if business owner Benji, who's the sales guy, who's probably the best, right? He's the best persona at this, does a typical 2-time follow-up, then we've got to figure out a different system that does better. And I think talking about ways that AI can really shine and automation can really shine is getting to that 5 touch point without that business owner's involvement. One other thing I have to mention on this. Again, Benji is good on sales, but he keeps it all in his head. And so does Sally. They also keep it all in their head.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to ask them, how often do you follow up? Twice. Okay, cool. Let's go a little bit deeper on that. How many leads have you gotten in the last month? Oh, 10. Okay. So of the 10, how many did you follow up with twice? It breaks apart real quick.
Yeah, which is like sometimes a follow-up can be, you know, of course, depending on the type of landscaping, hardscaping they do, but like,
Yeah.
that can be a serious money to just not have reached out 2 more times, you know, like just, and AI can take care of, even if people aren't comfortable with the AI doing the messaging, because some people still like to have that personal touch completely. It's like AI can prompt you. Like it can be 5 reminders of that follow-up, and it can be at set intervals, you know, just trying to do that all in your head and remember, you know, you add 5 more leads in a month and all of a sudden the whole system can fall apart if you're not careful.
Yes.
You know, if you don't have something to help you. Mm-hmm.
One of the things too that is so important is considering the high average sales price of hardscaping.
Mm-hmm.
So people aren't ready necessarily to make that choice today. And if you don't have that in a system where you can remember their information, you're going to forget about it. Unless growing up, my dad had this really thick wallet with what he called the day timer. I don't know how the thing fit in his pocket, but it somehow did. And he would write everything down on there. And considering he didn't have a CRM, that was actually pretty impressive.
Very much
but
my grandma
still,
too.
he had to yeah, there we go. He had to flip back pages to be able to find the people he had done estimates with and do call downs on that during slow season, which was great. That's cool.
That's better than most that we talk to.
That's better than most. But today, even without that day timer or writing it down, it all takes a lot of work. There's a way to make that all automated with a CRM. You take that lead that came in, do the 5 touch point follow up. Mm-hmm. You then put them into a long-term nurturing sequence, and then they get some communication without you even having to think about it once a month or so. So you're top of mind when they're ready.
And if you're using something like Go High Level that we use, like you can listen back to the phone calls, which like if you're next summer scheduling, like you can remember what you talked about. And like if you're in a sales position, you know, you can be, oh, how's little Johnny? Like, you know, just something so personal that they mention on the call. Like it just shows how much you're like, and you just care, you know, and that really can set a business apart.
Yeah. That's funny. It's funny to think about. Is it personable to rely on recorded data that AI won't forget and then bring that back up? Or is it more personal to just remember every conversation, more human, I suppose? And that is such an interesting, I think, blocker that keeps us from utilizing the technology to help us give more human interactions. Recording the conversations, bringing those back up, being able to interact with it on a GPT. Mm-hmm. I guess that's another way we utilize AI. It's taking those recorded conversations, stick them into a GPT, and now you have an interactive conversation you can have with a past conversation you had. So you can say, hey, give me a summary of this call. Or what was the most important thing about their backyard that they were interested in? Mm-hmm. Or what was the personal stuff about their family that we talked about? So you can remember those points.
Which makes the salesperson stand out so much.
Huge.
Like it's the night and day difference. I can think of like the companies I've dealt with where I had that, like Chewy, for example, famous, you know, dog food, cat food supply. But like when I've called them, you know, they ask questions about like, oh, they tried this food from before. Like, oh, I remember you told us about your dog. Like, and I know this person doesn't know that, but it's in a system. And I'm not offended that like they're using this like robot, you know, like I think we have this initial hesitancy, but like when it's done right, it can make such a difference when it's done right, not just slap together and hope for the best, like actual, which is why we're talking today about like the human touch points of making sure there's like this element that's brought in.
Yeah. So AI can help us to make those deeper human connections versus the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're thinking, no, let's not integrate this because it's not providing that human connection. Yes, there's those instances where the AI doesn't hear correctly. Clearly, we've had that problem.
Yep.
But it doesn't forget. That's for sure.
Yeah, does not forget.
We forget. So utilizing it from that perspective to remember those conversations, the connection, bring it back up. It's great. Just a great way to utilize AI. So interesting. All right. So let's move on. Mm-hmm. If we're going to use AI as a tool and not a replacement of humans, there's this concern humans feel or people feel. Our appointment setter, he's all on this. Hey, you keep on referring to me as a human. What's up with that? Okay. My person, my very valuable person.
Very valuable. The MVP.
Yes, very valuable. How is AI not taking jobs away from these people, but actually enhancing what they can do? Mm-hmm. And in some regards, we see, yes, okay, jobs might be consolidated, but people are being asked to do higher level tasks. Mm-hmm. And thinking specifically in hardscape marketing and appointment setting, that process, and even sales, how do we see that happening in that?
Yeah. I think like first, when I put myself in the shoes of like someone running, especially, as we've talked about, when they're in that very tight spot as a hardscape company where they've grown and they're at their like limit, and they want to, time is such a concern for them. And even if like they still keep their same team, but the efficiency is just faster, like that frustration of like leads slipping through the cracks or like automations, even with things like billing, like automating. So, I don't know how many of them are sitting there and like making their own like billing follow-up emails, like, yeah, no one likes to chase down, a contract. Like there's so much there that I think like for me, AI has helped me focus so much more on like the strategy versus always being in the weeds of the doing constantly. And it still needs someone to wrangle in the horses, like you can't just like, if you're a solo founder, just download 12 AI tools and let them go crazy, because you'll have a fire in about 3 seconds if you don't have anyone managing any kind of strategy, any kind of messaging. They're not to be fully trusted to just go crazy, but it can save you so much time. Especially you and I have talked about like letting business owners focus on the magic of why they started the company, why they love to do it, and get them out of the constant weeds of everything, like especially the administration. Aren't we all dying of emails? Like, aren't we all like text messages? Like I open up my inbox to like 1,000 things. I can't, so having like, even now I've noticed like Google will summarize like what an email is about in one sentence inside of like, which is just so helpful. Like there's just so much there, and it's like, don't like bring in AI to take away the things that you love to do. Don't do that. Yeah. Like if you still love being in the creative of your business, like don't let it take that away from you, let it do the things you already don't like to do.
What a weird concept. So we've been trained over the years that we should read all of our snail mail, which takes time. Yes. And then we should read all of our emails. And then we learned about filters for emails. You can filter them. You can automatically filter them within Gmail and such. But we're getting to a place where you just mentioned a quick summary of your email. You don't even have to read the full email. Just read the quick summary and you're good. Sometimes with ChatGPT coming out, if I get a long email, I just copy paste, throw it in ChatGPT. Anyway, I don't even know what it's talking about. Give me the quick summary. I want to respond correctly. Yeah. So it's funny. For those of you who are using AI more and more as your assistant, it's becoming more helpful for us to focus on that creative. We're going to get to a place where imagine you don't have to even open up your email because AI is basically talking to AI at that point, and you've told it what you want to focus on. There's tools out there that help you even with your inbox management that are AI today. And you will save more time. Now, that feels weird because we've been trained to read our emails. You must read all your emails or clear out your inbox or whatever. But actually, machines can probably grab that information and make it shorter and more digestible for you in a way that you just can't. And sometimes it depends upon how you guys manage your email, but I use a zero-based inbox system. I got folders, all that kind of stuff, but most people don't. I wonder how in the world can you stay on top of your inbox with that method? But there's a method, I'm sure, but everybody's got a method. But,
select all trash is that method. No.
Yeah, all trash. Right. Select all trash. But how do you stay on top of those things? And it's just going to be able to do a better job than humans.
And then
from that regard.
As a marketer, something that's always in my mind though is like with so much coming at us, how on earth do you stand out and still keep connection? Just so much email is written by a robot, and I can tell. And when it is so personal, I'm like, it does stand out to me. And that's where I think businesses who figure out that balance are going to get really far ahead. I think so much of the conversation is like the businesses who adapt AI the fastest are going to go the fastest. And I'm like, yes, but use the tools correctly. Yes, but still know how it even works before you just, I think businesses are so proud that they have like AI at all. And they think they're so far ahead. And it's like, yes, but there's some dude with a Rolodex who's still beating you. And because there's this connection, human part that you can't just obliterate in a business.
So, question.
Ooh, yes.
What do you prefer? If you were to call a company, would you prefer that the phone, I'll give you a few scenarios. The phone just rings and nobody picks up. That's one scenario. Maybe another scenario is the phone rings, somebody picks up, but it's clearly somebody from the Philippines on the other side, or it's somebody from India. And while it is a real person, they have no clue about hardscaping at all. Or would you prefer to call in to a hardscape company? It sounds like an AI voice, so you know it's an AI. But, and that's kind of where we sit today, but they can answer your questions. They actually know your local area. They know every single city around. They have all the knowledge of a hardscaper, so they can, in general, answer those questions. If you speak multiple languages, they can speak everything that you have in questions in multiple languages. So whatever you prefer. And they can connect you. They could probably answer most of your questions, and the questions they can't answer, they will set an appointment with someone who can answer those questions. Okay, those three scenarios, which one's best?
I mean, it's obviously the third one with a secret fourth option that when I get on the phone, that person has taken all of the information I've said and reviewed it. And they're in it when we're on the phone, which is where I think AI is so great because For example, I was on the phone with
it records
T-Mobile,
it.
the other day, and I had to keep repeating what my problem was, and I was like, "Can you please get a CRM so I can just?" I called 3 minutes ago about this same issue. Do I have to repeat myself? It just, the hope is that by the time you are talking to a human, they're so less frazzled than we all feel now, which is the ultimate, I think, hope that we're all bringing AI into it. Like, then you really get their focus. That hardscaper comes to your house and they've thought about the build for your property, like, deeply, and they're really there. They weren't just on the phone with like 37 other people answering text messages, like, just all over the place. Like, the intention is back and the focus is back.
Exactly.
Ideal world, of course.
So we think about, it's not perfect, but that third scenario, we would say that's best. That AI can take notes, pass it on to the salesperson. That salesperson that can then interact with the call recording and the notes. Yeah. So they remember. So there's a lot of positives there in how AI can be used. That's just better than a call center. That even though it's a real person. Yeah. It's just far better.
Or you're not stuck on these like scripts of like, sometimes they want to get you talking and then pitch you another deal. And you're like, I'd rather talk to a robot and just say the 3 things I need. Call me back with an appointment. Let's move on. Like, efficiency.
Yes. And as a person, not a human, as a person, when you get your questions answered, or most of them, if the phone just rings, nobody answers, what do? You're looking at that Google. 87% of people interact with Google Maps, the 3-pack map spot, when they're trying to find out who's going to be the service provider they want to go with. Yep. So if you don't answer the phone, what's happening? They hang up,
the number 2,
and they call in. And they just keep on going down that list. So if you have an AI assistant that, by the way, they never sleep. So that's another interesting thing. Sometimes we get calls late at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and guess who answers the phone? Our AI. Yeah. And they get those questions answered, and they get an appointment set. Yes. So those positives, I think, far outweigh the negative of people know they're talking to an AI, but they're getting their questions answered. So I think the proof is in the data, by the way. In our hardscape company, when we implemented voice AI along with automation follow-up, so we had our own dog food. We don't just give it to our customers and then, not do it ourselves. But in our $2.5 million a year hardscape company, we do put this in place. Our lead to estimate rate, that's lead comes in and how many of those leads came in and turned into estimates, was at 30%. We implemented artificial intelligence, didn't change anything else. Same appointment setter, same person, put AI in place for follow-ups, voice automation. So call comes in, AI will answer the phone if needed. Our lead to estimate rate went from 30% to 41%. That's pretty substantial.
Yeah. I don't even know the math of like how much in revenue, but that's.
Well, I'll break it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So if we think out of 10 opportunities that come in, that means that if before we had a 30%, we get 3 estimates. With 40%, now we get 4 opportunities. So that gives us let's take that out to 100. So we get 40 opportunities. Out of the 40 opportunities, we're closing 30% of those. And then, so that equals about 12 jobs.
Yeah.
Versus at 30%, that's 9.
Yeah.
And our average job price is $26,000. So that
I don't even need a calculator to know that's a lot of. Yeah. So 26, we're
Out of 100 jobs, because we implemented AI, that's the difference between 9 and 12 jobs. That's 3 jobs extra. Just making sure I'm doing my math right. 26,000. Let's make it 25 for ease.
Math.
And that's $75,000 extra dollars for every 100 appointments that we set.
Yeah.
And that AI costs us like a few $100 a month to put in play.
And you still can keep your team. It's just like, it's just handling more, closing more.
That's right.
And it's like, that's what can make a business get out of that terrible middle struggle time. You know, like that kind of extra revenue can, I don't even, so many things.
That just goes, I mean, that goes straight to the bottom line. It's the same amount of work, same amount of leads. And all of that extra work that we can get off of the same marketing spend budget, because we've just increased our estimate to our lead to estimate rate. And I didn't even talk about the improvements of estimate to close. There's also a process there that you can run to improve that. But just that lead to estimate rate, that's massive. Okay, so we know, just breaking down some of those numbers, that AI is a great tool. Not a replacement of people, but
makes them better.
A great tool. It makes them better, makes them more creative, like you were saying. And I think blending AI and human and continuing to feed back the right information into AI, when it messes up, like it did with that lead opportunity that came in for us, then you're going to be better and better and better. And you just have to expect it's not going to be perfect. If your expectation is, oh, AI is going to come in and fix all my problems, wrong expectation. It's going to fix quite a few, and then you just got to continue to improve it. So I think, what are some improvements? What are some practical tips that hardscaper companies can make for improving their AI? How do we do that? One of the problems is AI sounds super robot-y, and how sometimes it phrases things weird too.
Yeah, and we've all seen, decades of movies now of like the robots taking over. So there's like a little bit of like hesitancy of like there's a little bit of that to overcome. There's a little bit of like we've all had a bad experience dealing with a robot.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't mean they should just disregard it entirely, because they're already somebody we talk to are already drowning in admin. We're all drowning in. If you're just a human, even without a hardscape business, you already have too many emails. I'd bet $1 million. Like you already have too many,
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh boy, where to even begin? That's I always think people should just like play with ChatGPT, just like talk about, here's where my business is. Ask the robot where you should begin. Robot. Here's where I am.
That's
here's
true.
what I'm struggling with. Like, sometimes even just starting with like the pain points, like where are you losing track of all of your leads? Is there no follow-up?
Yeah.
Are there miscommunications with clients a lot? Every business is so different, but you probably have more thoughts on where a hardscape company should begin with AI as your boots on the ground with it.
Yeah. I think that going back to your point on AI voice being evil, that is such a great point. Again, we do get feedback. This sounds really corporate-y, and I don't want to talk to corporate because I think I'm going to get a bad experience. I want to work with a family small business.
Yes.
And that we get that feedback, but is the benefit clearly looking at the math? We get an extra 3 jobs per 100, $75,000. I'm okay with that feedback. And that's just something that's going to have to improve over time. We've done changes to the voice to make it sound more family.
You should have just like kids yelling in the background.
How do you, right. Well, and one of those could be, we did have background noise of it sounding like a call center.
Okay.
When the AI answered the phone, just get rid of that. That doesn't help. That just makes it sound more corporate-y.
Yeah.
And so there's kids. Maybe we replace that with the kids yelling. I think
that's the secret.
Yeah. We made some of those adjustments. We even changed the knowledge base of the AI with this idea of family business, make the voice sound more. So it's an important thing. People want to work with a family business, and they want to usually interact with the owner. That's such a huge value to people when they
especially
are
in
interacting with that
industry. Yeah. I think that's really, really important. It's not like if we're trying to reach out to like Facebook, we know it's going to be very, very.
We might prefer to get an AI.
Yeah,
because usually we get nothing with Facebook.
Yeah. I'm like, please implement robots immediately.
Yeah, please. That'd be great. And Google, please.
Please, robots. We love them. Go. But it's like that industry, there is a hurdle to be overcome because it is very much a handshake is a bond. It is very, it's very human to human there. So it is I understand their hesitancy to implement, but I'm like, you did start with a CRM. Just don't lose track of people who already want to work with you. Start there. Don't implement the complications, just start with something.
A CRM. Yeah. Some practical things could be, don't expect the AI to come up with the proper phrasing. So come up with a script or a message template that sounds human that you would say, and fill that AI's knowledge base with that.
Yeah.
And also define when you're going to automate versus pick up the phone. Don't just rely on the AI to always pick up the phone. If you have time to pick up the phone, pick up the phone. That's always going to be better. Always. And then also you want to have that face-to-face personalized follow-up in your sales pipeline whenever possible. Whenever you can have that connection, you can make that automated through video follow-up, pre-recorded video of yourself. That'd be
at least it's a human.
Yes, it is. Yeah. At that point, just maybe describing the typical process you go through when you're doing the estimate. So you're presetting the expectation and the boundary before you arrive. That's going to increase your close costs because people have a connection with you already before you arrive.
Yeah.
So that's great. Also, maybe you could include some featured jobs that you were on, even showcasing yourself, showing those jobs. That's another way, potentially. But you can't just lean on AI to do all that. It is truly just an assistant. You got to see it as that assistant.
Which can be trained just like a human. Like that's what, and we've worked a lot with I've taken, for example, these podcasts you've done, and I've uploaded them to when I write emails, and it's this is Keith's voice, this is his tone, this is how he puts words together. People can do that, they can, you can train it, you can tell it to this is how I would respond to things and let it learn. It definitely, I think people think don't get it perfect right off the bat because it's a robot. And it's just think of it as a little training. It's a little Tamagotchi, to start. And then it becomes a supercomputer. But you'd have to start with real, it takes a minute to get things, but then you don't just have to do with whatever template it thinks you should do.
Yeah. Agreed on that. Well, to kind of wrap things up, some key takeaways I'm hearing would be we should think of AI as an enhancement, not a replacement of humans in the personal sales experience. Think of it as that assistant. That's probably one of the big takeaways. Maybe another one that's even more simple than that would be if you're not doing AI today, your world's about to change. 2 years, it's going to be insane. You think today's insane, 2 years is going to be insane. And if you don't have AI, if you're not interacting with it, you should just, right?
Yeah.
Buy a Chat GPT account, $20 a month.
Hey, there's a free account. You can start real slow.
Account. That's true.
Have it just like, it can do wonders with like writing a workout routine, right? Like date night ideas, like it can just, before, people are scared to have it touch their business, just start with building like what it can do just to see it on like a personal level. And then it's so easy to implement slowly but surely.
Oh, another application on that note, we were talking about email. Mm-hmm. When your client sends you that email where they're so frustrated, because we all get them. Mm-hmm. We all get them. Mm-hmm. those clients, no matter what we do, we just can't please, or some escalation. When they send you that email, take it, put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, you're the greatest hardscaper in the world with 50 years of experience. How would you respond to a client like this? And, it's very interesting when you do that process, how it sort of de-escalates you, because it's almost a third party reading that email, and it gives you some really good pointers. Mm-hmm. And then you can craft your email in a better way and a better response. That's another great way to utilize it.
Yeah.
A good take.
Yeah. So you don't lose all of your clients. I know a few people who try to use that for sure, but one of my examples I always use when I try and tell people how AI can make us better humans is like, and this is such a millennial example, but when we all joined Facebook as youths, everyone hated that like Facebook reminded everyone that your friends had birthdays, right? Like it's Nana's birthday today. And at first it was like, a lot of people were kind of like, I want my friends to remember it's my birthday, right? But then it's like, all of your friends and family like wished you happy birthday for like 5-10 years or however long you were on Facebook for, and now that's gone. And so many people forget their friends and family's birthdays. And I don't want to say like it made us better humans, but it was like that touch point of like, hey, that college friend you haven't talked to in so long, it's her birthday. You should just send something. Just say, hi, happy birthday. And it's like, it was this like a beginning friction that ended up this like, wow, I've reached out to people that I haven't talked to in so long, which is like such a bigger example, but like it's the same possibilities in business of like these same opportunities to like touch point. And like, yes, business is not as sweet as like your college bestie, but like, it's like these points that, I know even at, inside Hardscape marketing crew, we have like automations of like birthdays and things, just like these little chances to just like layer in this human element that doesn't have to be this cold corporate, everyone's in suits and ties, just like so serious. It can be fun too. And I think that's what people forget about this AI thing.
That's good. I like that. Well, guys, keep that human touch in there. But while you're looking at your sales systems, think about some of the stuff we've talked about today. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's a way you can just take one thing from this, implement AI into your business and in just one way. You don't have to do it all. But as you do that, you can start stacking. And I think you're going to see the change in your business and the improvement there. Really appreciate you guys tuning in today to the Millionaire Landscaper Podcast. Keep on turning that dirt into dollars. We'll see you guys next time.